I think someone said something about my drums. They wanted me to make video drums. And I can't do that. Because, well, everything fucks up. Everything I buy, and no matter how expensive it is, you see all these people online. Their fucking cheap $25 smartphones can fucking record drums, but I can't. I can't record shit because the drawer full of mics I have magically don't work when they don't want to. And brand new devices I spend fucking money on magically don't work, and then I return them and fucking can't afford to keep returning it over and over. And you can't sue anyone because the governments are working with corporations, and so good luck suing someone. So I'll record something. I've got a lot of drum shit recorded, and the mic always fucks up. These mics are, I mean, I could blame like everything on like shitty electronics, but this is like, you know, I got this device like when it was pretty fucking brand new, and I mean, none of my devices record properly, so fuck it, whatever. I'm going to record a little bit. I'm just going to fucking do a little improvisation, little improv, evening at the improv. So here we go. And sorry, you probably won't even be able to hear half of this, so I'm just wasting my time. I've got enough of these recordings to know what fucking happens, so fuck it. Well, we got that out of the way, right? So I can somewhat drum. It's hard to do when everything in the world fucking fucks with you all the time. And it's really hard to be a musician when you're poor as fuck. And I thought guitars were expensive because you buy those cheap ones and you think you suck. And you do suck if it's your first time picking up a guitar. But it's also because the guitar fucking sucks. So below $1,000 guitars generally play like shit. And if you don't know what you're doing, setting it up, it's still probably going to play like shit. But drums, they're just more fucking expensive overall. Even like instead of a few $1,000s for a fucking good low cost setup, you'd be paying like $6,000 for a good low cost drum setup, especially in the E-kit realm. But the E-kit realm, I like break the motherfuckers, so you can't just replace the head, you replace the whole fucking thing. Generally, I mean, you can replace parts and shit, but it's like more expensive for the E drums. Fucking, I could just fucking use anything for a regular non-drum set, but that's not even plugged in. Fucking can't be. Costs more money than I fucking have to buy brains and buy replacement parts so the shit works right. And then there's no like fucking nothing as far as protection for when I buy a Speed Cobra 310 and it's like a faulty design period, and you know it creates sounds here and there it shouldn't be doing. You know, there's no fucking rights for anyone. Just like this camera, when this camera fucks up, as you heard, I'm sure in the drumming, as you heard possibly during some of my music videos upload, it fucks up. Like, you know, I'm paying tons of money and it's fucking up. Like I said, I shouldn't be blaming the money because it feels like there's other shit going on in this world, and they definitely fuck with me. Same time, sometimes they reward me. Although I'm not too sure sometimes about being rewarded with material goods being anything but a curse. So that is what it is, and I'm too poor to afford most of this shit to make videos, to have time to make videos, to have a fucking car. And I don't fucking like the place I live. I'm like fucking basically surrounded by idiots and terrorists, and it like seriously caused me issues, so I don't want to make videos because of that either. Fucking there's certain types of people in this world who think if you have a second of time to do anything, it's a second of time that's their second of time, so they can continue watching TV 24/7. And then there's terrorists who call the fucking cops on you and shit, just because you park outside on the street. Literally, not even making shit up. I fucking didn't smash any of their windows. I didn't fucking burn their fucking house down. I didn't fucking rape their family. And not that I've ever fucking raped someone's family, but definitely we can run with other shit. I will fuck you up. I wish these bastards would have fucking been around me when I was like 14 to fucking 18. They would never be causing anyone problems ever again. They would be too busy having problems caused for them to have time to cause someone else problems. And so now that the rambling is done, not really, not much I can do, and shit's expensive, and I'm poor as fuck, so I would say not having money gets in the way of what you want to do, but fucking slaves to the dollar, they have nothing, they have you know, nothing. They have their house, their yacht, their 5 cars, but they have nothing else, you know. They have no knowledge, they have no fucking skills, they have nothing. They have like their one skill they made, their, you know, the professional burger chef at McDonald's, the master fucking architect down the road at the fucking apartment place that architects the apartment complexes. Ooh. But, you know, there's definitely the balance there. And really the balance is fucking slave to the dollar equals you have no life. So, fuck it. I got no money, so I've got time to drum. I've got no money, so I've got no drums that work 100%. Fuck it. Fuck it. So, this is going to be about child predator Stanley. He died at like 95 years old. Zionist child predator Stanley. And I'm going to be all like that, because usually I like drum for an hour or two in the morning. So, here we are. Me only drumming like 10 minutes. Okay, child predator Stanley. So Malcolm X talked about people like Stanley. He said, if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Malcolm X. So he's basically, he knows what's going on. He's talking about the ooze and the ahs, the ooze. Ooze and the ahs who took over everything, right? So basically he's saying they're going to use this print media to make you hate people and love the people who are doing the hating. And that's how it works. That's exactly how it works. He said newspapers, but comic books are the same fucking thing, just for little children. And that's child predation. They've definitely taken to owning Marvel and DC because they were preying upon children. And you can see this in the documentary Hollywoodism. They bragged themselves. One of the millions of places they bragged, they took over all the media. They brag that the FBI came to them in like the 1940s and told them to calm down the anti-war propaganda. They didn't want any war with the German Empire. I don't think it was quite an empire yet at that date, but they told them not to do that. So they say, okay, we won't make films about hating Germans and loving Jewish and Irish people. And then, well, they didn't really listen to that 100% because you had Charlie Chaplin. See, they went to hiding it rather than just putting out, ooh, marijuana's going to rape and kill your family, and ooh, the Muslims, they over there, they so evil, we got to take their land because they just don't deserve land. And it's our land anyways. And then the Germans, they so evil, they want their land, and they want us to stop killing them with the other 20 nations we own in that area. And then over here, evil people, you know, it wasn't direct like that anymore when the FBI came in and told them to shut up. They went to like laughing at it, you know, pushing the propaganda through humor. And Charlie Chaplin was one of them. They just give him the stupid face. He's like, and he doesn't have to say nothing really. They just put him in the face, put his face like in a movie with, you know, some Germans, and the Germans are, and you're like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be like the guy who looks like fucking retard. I don't want to be the evil, hateful Germans, you know, and that's pretty much how it came out. So they begin reverting, not reverting, they begin changing their propaganda around. It's hard to document media. It's hard to document anything before like the 40s, the invention of television. Because anyone could write anything, but basically anything left on the internet past 4 hours ago is fucking government propaganda. So if you've seen it and you've read it, there's probably propaganda there. So they told them that, and then they went to creating comic books because they have to raise children up to hate, you know, and it was probably also an attempt to get the children to brainwash their parents into hating the Germans, you know. They'd be like, hey, Superman killed the Germans today. Oh, look at that. Superman killed Gaddafi. We must have to kill Gaddafi because Superman's a good guy. So, Superman, created by Jerry Siegel. See, even when I say that, like that, I'm telling you what they're telling me to tell you. You see where it is when I say they control everything? I can't even educate people on this without telling you something that they've already said. Although, when I expose fidget spinner, minds.com, and that other thing, mine, like Minds, I did in that Minds video. Fidget spinner minds, you know, the other stuff. They didn't want that, and you're gone when you do that. I believe my fidget spinner video is gone. Yeah, a fidget spinner video is gone. That is how deep the deception is. And if you can wake up to realizing that fidget spinner was used as propaganda, and probably was created as propaganda, then, you know, you're on like this whole level spectrum. You're like, they took over the presidency and they used that as propaganda in the military. And then all the way down here, they took over the fidget spinner and used that as pro-war propaganda for their agenda. Not just pro-war, but also their agenda. When you take those two ends, you just, you know, by the time you get to realizing that, you're like, they control way out here and way down there. So they control everything in between. So what's going on with the comics? What's going on with this video? Is this video even going to get anywhere? It's like a waste of time for me to make videos. At least it looked like it. And then things started happening. And people started changing in the last few months, almost. It was like kind of one of those light switches on and on, like when they got brainwashed before. By things like the Paris attacks. 1 week after the Bataclan attacks of their propaganda, and for some reason all the humans were liberals, libertarians, everyone was changing their tone. Just like within that week, it was all like all the commenters had changed. So it's kind of like that on people waking up. So I'm not sure anyone's woke up, but it seems suspect what's going on. You know, bombers and shooters being aware, not just people, not just BLM in the streets burning down McDonald's. So I'm not too sure about that, but with the comic books, it's them. I mean, they completely took over Marvel through the Disney acquisition. And then I believe they were always DC. And even then, it's not something they just took over. A lot of times, like, see, there's a deception on the took over in the invention of. They set it up so it appears they have taken over something. And a lot of times that trail dead ends into who you think invented it. But a lot of times that goes back into this written history I just mentioned, where, or nowadays it can be, you know, oral history, or it can be video history. But they set it up so a lot of that stuff so far back, you really can't find anything on where it came from, and you can't trust anything on where it came from. So they make it look like they took over and acquired Marvel recently, but in reality, Marvel Comics was created by Martin Goodman and Mo Goodman, co-creator and most famous of the Marvel ownership is Stan Lee. So, you know there's going to be some propaganda here, right? And there is. There is. And it's way deeper than I can imagine. It's been so long since I've read comic books that I can't tell you. But I can tell you what's going on today. I watched the Punisher series. And, I watch most of the stuff. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not entertaining. I'm saying there's something. If they made it so it wasn't entertaining, you wouldn't watch it, and you might fucking realize there's something else going on. You definitely would realize there's something else going on if no one watched it and it was magically popular. But recently, they gave the Punisher to a dual citizen, the leading role. And new Wonder Woman actor is an ex-Israeli agent. Ex. Everyone knows ex means the same. It doesn't really matter. But when you're Mossad or once a Marine, always a motherfucking Marine, unless you're a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Even like Ken O'Keefe, once a Marine, he's always fighting now. This fucking boot camp shit ain't bullshit. They teach you, and they teach you to make you fucking bad when you wake up in the morning. How many military people you think fucking live in filth? I'll tell you. The people I know who join the military and aren't disrespectful of the nation or are disrespectful, they're clean motherfuckers. I think even my one uncle, who I guess most people would consider him a fuck up, he was pretty fucking clean. Considering where he was and where he was doing in life. The military people I know, that shit's impounded into them. So, once an Israeli agent, always an Israeli agent. But it doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out, who's in it, who's in charge of it, too. And so it goes with propaganda. A lot of the, a lot of people complaining about multicultural propaganda, well, that's where it's coming from. It's definitely coming from there. Where did our propaganda for Save the Earth come from when we was kids? Captain Planet. Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. He's a planeteer, you can be one too. Something, pollution, it's what to do. I probably actually knew the rest of those lyrics. I just kind of fucked off. Okay, so that's where this comes from. And you can see it over and over again. Creator of G.I. Joe, pro-war propaganda, was the Donald Levine, or I guess you could pronounce it differently. I didn't ask him specifically how he pronounced his last name, but Levine, Levine. You can really pronounce it how you want, and it really depends on which part of the world you're in as to how you pronounce what letter structure you see in front of you, right? It's not necessarily you're pronouncing someone else's name wrong. It's, according to your culture, they're spelling it wrong. But anyways, it's all the same people. And it's all being ran for propaganda, just like everything else on TV. Just because it's made for children doesn't mean it's not being made to brainwash you. Here, I'm going to pause for a second and get me a lozenge. Okay. Got my lozenge. So I've been watching a lot of, I watch all the Marvel shit. A lot of, dude, I watch all that shit. It really is some of the best stuff out there. What else do you have? It's Hollywood. You have to watch what they make. There's really nothing else. A lot of the secondary stuff is bullshit these days. Back in the days, B-movies were kind of cool and inventive, and nowadays it just ain't so much. Even back in the day, B-movies were Tromaville, and guess who owns Tromaville? The same people I keep saying own everything else. So the B-movie back in the day, and Tromaville's still around, was still them anyways. Although Leaf Joinkers might not have been one of them. He made a good film, I guess. Darkness, the original, which you probably have a hard time finding if you would look up that just because I said it. because they've replaced it with a new movie called Darkness. It's not the same movie. Really, the only movie about vampire werewolves, or vampire zombies. Okay, so they control everything. Stanley is like one of these main controllers. Just because he's on TV smiling and laughing, and you like him, and you like films his name's in, it doesn't mean, doesn't mean anything else. He's still part of the Zionist, Oish power structure. And when you look at this stuff, it's like they don't really fill it with it, from what I see. They put it here and there. But then again, I could be missing entire points or pre-programming for upcoming propaganda. So you have this person, and he wants to go to Israel. He says, I really wanted to go to Israel. So he's a Zionist. You don't have to even anti-Zionists are Zionists. So, get that out of your head. Like, if you're one of them and you're an anti-Zionist, all those anti-Zionists are protecting the bottom line. Look at anti-Zionist David Duke. He's protecting Trumpburg. So, at the end of the day, you can easily find it. Look at the anti-Zionist libertarians. Their God is Ayn Rand the Zionist. She said some of the more hardcore things about Zionism that most people don't go that far who claim they're Zionists. You can tell they're Zionists too, because the whole group is owned by Zionists. John Stossel, Alex Jones. The list goes on and on here. Max Kaiser's kind of like their banker. Peter Schiff's another one of their bankers. So they own this, and they're definitely using it as some sort of propaganda. I keep trying to recall Doctor Strange, and I don't recall much propaganda in that, but I have seen articles where people who worked under these Uish, they put out stuff that other people shouldn't see, right? I seen there's a quote from one person who made like a Marvel Gold comics. I'm not saying the name of that 100%, but it was a quote from the Quran. Like, they linked the verse number, like whatever it was, Q13 or whatever, and they're like, that's anti-Semitic, because it said that in the Arab's book it says, do not be friends with the Christians and Jews, for they work together. And so they linked to that. There was like someone in India who wrote for them, wrote that. Someone from India wrote that for them. So they complained and they removed it. So you don't have to make the propaganda, but they're at the top. They're making it. DC Comics is Warner Brothers. That is Harry Warner, Albert Warner, Sam Warner, Jack L. Warner. That's who created it. So Warner Brothers, Hollywood. If you've gotten that far, you already know all of Hollywood is them. And now, until I remove this video, you'll know that the DC Comics and the Marvel Comics are all of them, which no one's ever touched that. But I think it's one of the most important things, because it's child predation, and it shows just how deep it's gotten. Like I said, you got the one spectrum down here. We control fidget spinner, and up here we control motherfucking TV and Hollywood propaganda and all actors and actresses. You think comic books are nothing, right? They're for children. Who cares? They're stupid. That's probably what most people think. And in reality, it's one of the most important, because they get you when you're a little baby, long before you ever care about watching the news. They are drilling this shit into you. I gotta put something up here so I know to look at the lens. Like, I think my other camera, or how I used to place it, was over there. My videos fuck around. And the more of the fucking around, they'll like flip the fucking video sometimes. It's like my 8th version of this specific fucking device. 7th. It's their 8th version. And or 6th for me. And it fucks up. So I'm kind of used to looking over that way. But it's over here. And what they're saying is just all the same shit. No matter if they're talking to the kids or they're talking to the adults, they're just masking it differently. In the children, they're like getting even younger. It's more important. They can push newer ideas into your head when you're younger, before you realize that there's other ideas that exist, or before you realize that before you realize any of this, before you even realize you're fucking alive yet, before you can even think for yourself and be self-aware and be like, that's my hand. Wow, look, I can tell it to move. Like, they are pushing this down your throat. So, everyone's all sad. Stanley died. Now I'm not going to waste a second celebrating his death. But they're all like, he's a hero. He's such a great guy. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's told you he's a hero and he's such a great guy. Someone said, heroes don't always wear capes. Rest in peace, fucking Stanley. And I was like, heroes never wear capes. That was Superman. He was fucking Israeli dual citizen. He's not a hero. That's like, like saying, shoot a child in the head, take their land from them, you're a hero. No, dude, sorry. And you can look back at the 1940s. You can see it a lot easier in the 1940s. Maybe it's hard for me to see these days, because I'm in America. Everyone's in America, right? We're all living in America. Pretty much. So you guys all watch the same shit, right? And I'm just kind of used to the 24/7 line. So it's like really not anything new to me. Like, I turned on a Netflix special a year or so ago, and it was like a trucker looking guy in an American hat. And I just knew right away, I was like, well, this is probably an ew, and it's probably insulting, the American in the trucker looking hat, which is fine. I mean, comedy's comedy, right? You can do whatever you want. But it's the simple fact that they're controlling everything, they're controlling the narratives, and they're controlling everyone's brain. So that's where the problem arises. There's nothing wrong with freedom of speech. There's nothing wrong with owning guns. But there's definitely something wrong with the wrong people fucking... I mean, there is no freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech for them. The likelihood that this video comes down pretty much is the reason why this video's never been made. But my tactics are not making videos. People want me to make videos, and I've been doing other stuff for a long time. And I think that other stuff kind of works. But the problem is I and others, like, wake people up, and then they create the videos. They create the TV shows. They create the president. They create the RNC and the DNC. They control all that. So once you, like, wake people up and you're like, hey, the elite, man, the elite swamp in America. They just put someone out there who's like, drain the swamp. And they're instantly like, oh, that's one of the dudes. That's one of us. No. No, he made it to TV. He's the swamp. He made it to the internet. You're not even allowed on this internet. I don't get that idea where anyone who's aware thinks a channel with like 100,000 subscribers is like legit, because no, I've never seen it work like that. And anyone with lots of subscribers, they only mention Zionists, which is part of their deception to begin with. They're the ones who are allowed doing that. I made an anti-Zionist video. I can't do that. It was just satire. I mean, it was Merry Christmas. Israel wishes Merry Christmas to Gaza. Showed him bombing Gaza on Christmas Day, because it wasn't just wishing, and it wasn't even that. Like, the video wasn't about wishing no one Merry Christmas. That little clip was about teaching you that they're spitting on your fucking little Christian religion. Purposefully, they're doing the bombing on that day, right? So that gets removed. You're not allowed to mention any of this shit if you're not one of them. If they don't want you to. If you're affecting them. So, I would have made this video a long time ago discussing these people, and I could still do it. I could go into it more and more in detail, you know. I could show you pictures of early Superman comics, you know, and I believe early Spider-Man comics, which you would probably more relate Stan Lee to Spider-Man. So it's all there. It's all the same people. It's all the same shit. But if you talk about it,